In this video, I'm going to show you how to make these sweet little spring butterfly wands. I've made them to celebrate the start of spring. They would also be beautiful on the nature table, on a birthday table, as a playgroup activity for the parents to make. So many things you could use them for. Little kids would love them to run around, to celebrate the season. So let's make one. Here is a pattern for a butterfly, for some butterfly wings. You can create your own. If I get time, I might put one on in my membership site so you can download it. That's at natalietrusler.com. Okay, so start by cutting out 2 butterfly wings. I'm using wool felt. I love working with wool felt because it's a natural material. It takes to dye and colour really well. You can use so many natural things to dye it, and it's super easy. It's just such a versatile material. If you've never stitched with wool felt, it's the best with little kids because you don't need to hem it or do seams, so you can kind of take it anywhere, whether you're at the park or anything, and have something in your bag to pull out and do a little bit of slow stitching. So there's one. I'm going to do another one. This is some gorgeous felt my friend dyed for me. She's quite clever. Okay, let's move that. And so other things you're going to need is a stick, some silk threads. You can use, if you've got some silk fabric, you can pull it into strips, and you can use that. You've got your own silk that you've dyed. You can use any ribbons you've got, really. I just love silk because it's got such a magical quality to it. So you can see I'm not being super neat. Well, maybe I am. Here we go. Okay, so you just need to get your little butterfly cut out. So there we go. Next, we're going to take some embroidery threads. So here I've got some yellow. You could use whatever colour you've got. And I'm going to start by doing a little bit of embroidery around where the stick's going to go. So if I show you what's going to happen is we're going to tie our ribbons onto the stick. We're going to pop the stick inside here, and we're going to stitch around the stick to keep it in place. But before we do that, if we just do some, you can see here some really simple, like a straight stitch. I'll bring it up so you can see embroidery, just to give the butterfly a little bit of character. Now you can do whatever you want. You could do some French knots, you could do some beautiful lazy daisy stitches, you could do, I sometimes like to do like a meandering kind of running stitch all over, kind of like the trail of a bee, I guess. But you could do whatever you want. And depending on how old your children are, you could even involve them in this kind of aspect of making the butterfly. So you can see I'm just taking lots of little stitches, kind of leaving a little area in the middle because that's where, you can see there, where we're going to pop the stick inside. And when you're finished, you can just jump over to the other side and work your way up that side as well. It is possible to actually do this when you've already stitched the butterfly up, because I had to do that on one of them and it worked just as well. So it's probably easier to do it now though. This is just a very simple straight stitch. You can get creative if you want. I love the look of this kind of simple, and I think when you've got hand-dyed felt as well, it kind of, you don't really need a lot. So I'm just going to stitch off. So to stitch off, I just take a little stitch, and then I take another stitch over the top and I catch the loop, pull it through. Get my scissors and snip off. Then I thread up again. So I'm just using normal embroidery thread that I split into, can you see, into 2 pieces. So embroidery thread's made up of 6 pieces, and I only use 2 when I'm doing embroidery, sometimes 3 depending on if I want something a little bit thicker, but so always split your thread, so from each bit of thread you get 3 pieces. So just going to work on this one now. Should have had this ready done, should I? But never mind. Be a lovely little gift to make your child. Maybe if you celebrate the seasons and you have a nature table, it'd be something you could have ready on the first day of spring. Obviously, if you're in the southern hemisphere, we're a bit late this year, but you could have it ready to welcome spring in. Dog jumping in the door. Okay. There we go. So now I'm just going to stitch off, catching the loop on the second. And now I'm going to tie the threads on. So I've got the silks on. So I've got some silks that I've put together. Oh, just grab that. There. And I'm going to tie a knot. Pop my, is that the side I'm going to use? Maybe I'll use that side. So I'm going to put it on this side here. So pop my stick through and then I'm going to tie them on. If you can, do a double knot. So if you're using ribbon, just make sure you're using thin ribbons, maybe that organza ribbon, or not really thick ribbon. It might be a bit hard to hide this a little bit. Okay, once you've put your streamers or silks on, now you're going to pop that inside, the stick inside the butterfly, just kind of twist around the silks. Now I should have threaded up more thread, which I haven't done, so I'm just going to pin that in place while I go and do that. So I'm just using some of this yellow to thread it up. I just split it right so that I get 2 threads. And a knot on the bottom, then we're ready to go. So holding them together, popping the silks or the ribbons to the side, and just on inside kind of my stitching line, it really doesn't matter, and then around the stick we're going to do kind of like a running stitch, I guess. Maybe you know it as a dolphin dive or straight stitch, just that's a bit hard there, must be where the ribbons are. We're just trying to really secure the stick tightly without having to use glue. You could use glue if you needed to, but I prefer not to if I don't have to. Which makes it something you can just kind of take anywhere and do. They make such beautiful little gifts, I think, on the top of a birthday present, or as I said, on the birthday table, like the star ones, but these are a butterfly version. There we go. So I'm just going to do a few stitches there and come around. We're going to put some antennas on as well, and you could use this embroidery thread, but I like to use waxed cotton because it gives a I guess a thinner look, and the antennas kind of stick up a little bit, but I'll show you that next. So we're just going to continue this running stitch around. I'm going to hold it up to see that you can see. Oh, hopefully you've been able to see what I've been doing. You can see I've not been terribly neat, but for me it's about the magic we're creating and not really about the perfection. So there we go. So when we get to the bottom, just get as close as you can to the stick so you're getting it nice and tight, and then you might just take a few stitches to finish off. So a stitch on the spot I always do, and then another one, and then catch the loop. Then thread your needle out anywhere random and chop it off. So it kind of hides the little tail. The tail gets hidden inside. So there we go. Now we're going to grab, this is the waxed cotton that I love to use. It's actually called quilting thread, but it is waxed cotton. So I just take a small bit of that. You could also use like usual cotton that you use on a sewing machine. Obviously that's not waxed, but it is just a thinner cotton. Thread up. Knot at the end. And we're just going to do the antennas. So to do those, I'm going to show you what they look like. Can you see them? And some darker ones on this one. There they are. So we just go to the top of your butterfly, put your thread through, make sure your knot is inside, so just kind of push it inside so it's hidden. And now you're going to just take some stitches, don't catch your silks like that, maybe 3 stitches, and then catch the loop. And do it again, just as if you're stitching off. See, like that. And now you're going to cut off just however long you want your antennas. There's one. And then we do that again. So we do another knot. For the other side, just hide it into the body. Come up. 1, 2, and 3. Catch the loop, maybe do it one more time. And then cutting off. And there you have a butterfly wand for springtime. As you can see, they're pretty easy to make, but they're rather sweet.